You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Road, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Vices? We don't need no vices. I don't have to show you any stinking vices.
You make me want to be a better man.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
He's looking at you, kid.
Not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you guys get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you'll find links to not only this show, but our other shows like MF Uncensored and the Multiverse Fancast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio today is Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am great. I forgot what you looked like.
That's weird.
That's not weird. I haven't seen you in like a month.
But you think about me all the time, so it's fine.
It's true.
Yeah, and you know, I love you too. But anyway, we are back. Yes, we are here to talk about... We took a little break. Yeah, just a week off. Little. But yeah, I know. But yeah, we did take some time off. So we are back though, and we are excited, and we're tackling a fun topic today. I'm psyched. We're not talking about a specific movie.
No, we're getting into these discussions, which I like. You know, trying to do topics here and there.
Because going to the movies is hard.
That's very true.
It's so difficult.
There's really nothing out right now.
And it's even worse. Like, movies are accessible at home, and I still won't sit down. Like, I have not watched Jurassic World.
Me neither.
And it's sitting on Peacock going, hey. And I'm like, nah, man. I'm
very excited. Elvis is on HBO Max.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Yeah. But I just binge watched all of Bel Air.
How was it?
It was all right.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. But that's neither here nor there. They have their own podcast. Fun fact. But yeah, so today we're talking about Hollywood tropes and trends that need to die. That's not gonna be
they need to die.
That's not gonna be the title.
Okay, I didn't know that was the plot. I just thought it was trends
that need to die. Yep, see, it's already flowing. It's already happening. But so we're gonna we made a little list that we're gonna talk about some of the things that got really hot in movies, like really big in movies, and then overstayed their welcome and completely ruined the experience for a lot of people. To a degree, yes.
To a degree.
Fun fact, this was spawned by our episode of Multiverse Fancast where we discussed if Marvel is now heading down the peak with the latest episode of She-Hulk.
They can only assume they're going to not be able to hold the momentum, but I have not watched any of She-Hulk.
Yeah, well, we talked about Thor and Doctor Strange and how we were just kind of meh about them.
Yeah,
I feel like.
No, I agree.
But so we're going to break this up. I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish different things on here, and we'll break it up, take a little break in between, and then come back and finish up. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
No way. Love it. All right, so the first one I want to talk about is something that's actually happening right now. It's happening as we speak.
Really?
Yes.
Like where?
Like in the country right now. This is happening. All right, brace yourself.
Weird.
Are you okay? Ready?
I'm intrigued.
Movie re-releases.
Yeah, I agree.
So right now, Spider-Man No Way Home is #1 at the box office. What? What? So Marvel and Sony decided that they were going to re-release Spider-Man No Way Home for Labor Day weekend with 11 minutes of additional footage.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
11 more minutes of Andrew and Toby?
Apparently, one of the scenes is Andrew specifically saying to Toby that he wanted to see the holes where his webs come out of. Yeah. Really glad. Price of admission for that.
God. Okay, so the whole notion of a re-release to me, I don't have a problem with re-releases. I mean, they've been going on since movies began. I mean, Disney was a big proponent of re-releases back in the 50s, 60s. They would re-release all their old animated movies like 10 years after, because this is before home video. This is before any type of way for you to watch these movies ever again. So I don't have a problem with the whole process of re-releases. I think they're kind of overstayed their welcome now that we have all this technology to watch these movies on.
So it really started in the more recent trends a year or two ago with Avengers Endgame.
And then Avatar, right?
So
Avatar's coming out now.
Avengers Endgame re-released so they could beat Avatar as the #1 grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
So Avatar was like, oh, all right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah. But then Avatar actually is saying like, oh, well, we're doing this new 4K, thing, and, whatever.
I can't. Well, really, when re-releases got their to their points. Like the highest point was with Star Wars.
Well, back in the
That
90s.
was a spectacle.
Well, that was huge because there was a reason why they were being re-released. He was adding all that new extra footage, all the new effects. So I understood that. Now it's a money grab. That's all it is, pretty much. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to think. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Avatar in a theater again.
And see, that's the other thing, and that's going to lead
that's
into
a movie you have to see in a theater.
And that's going to lead to our next topic.
See?
I know. Look at that super segue.
Nice segue.
I love it. The 3D trends of the early 2000s. What year did Avatar come out again?
2009.
2009. So it's been over 10 years.
Over 10 years. No, but so real quick, 3D's been around since the 50s.
Since the Muppets amusement ride.
Amusement ride. So 3D's been around. It was a big push in the 50s, obviously, as to try and get people away from watching television, and get them back to coming to the theater. Then it made a resurgence in the, I think, late 70s and 80s. Jaws 3D.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the Friday the 13th movies was in 3D, or one of the slasher films. And then it came back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And Avatar, Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I'm missing a few. But there were some that were in 3D that didn't need to be in 3D.
For some reason, they decided that 3D was hot. And it really did start with Avatar. Avatar was designed to be seen in a theater. We saw it in a real IMAX theater, not an AMC IMAX theater.
No, like the traditional old-fashioned IMAX theaters that no longer exist.
Which sucks, because we would go to that IMAX theater for some really cool movies. Transformers we saw there, which was awesome.
Dark Knight,
which, oh my God.
Because that's when he shot, the first scene in IMAX. And
then a couple of others.
You could see the screen would fill up when it was actually shot in IMAX, and then when it was a normal movie, it would be back to the letterbox format. But
yeah, so Avatar comes out, and Avatar, say what you will about it, I enjoy it.
I think Avatar's a beautiful movie.
I'm
not going to defend the plot. I think the plot is just ordinary, and it's a...
Dances with Wolves?
It's Dance with Wolves, it's Fern Gully. It's not original.
Yeah.
But... the effects are amazing.
The effects are amazing. The world creation is beautiful. It still holds up in that regard.
That is the one thing I cannot wait to see the reaction to the new one.
Yeah.
Is it too late?
I think so.
I don't know.
Who
would have ever thought that movie was going to become the biggest money-making movie of all time? It's
so strange. But also it's because people said you had to go see it in this. We were like that. We were like, you have to go see it in an IMAX theater.
Oh, yeah. But
so,
again, though, that doesn't mean you're going to break the record.
But the way that I see it, if you do 10 tickets to a normal showing back then, $10, so that's $100. You do 10 showings at 15 a pop, 20 a pop.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. It'll obviously catch up, but I still say that that's a lot to go and become the biggest box office hit of all time.
I know, right?
I mean,
no
one ever thought Titanic would be usurped, and it was by a James Cameron movie, which I thought was, crazy.
Speaking of which, have you seen all these Leonardo DiCaprio memes?
No.
I guess somebody realized that Leonardo DiCaprio breaks up with girlfriends as soon as they turn 25.
Oh, God.
So there are a lot of memes about how...
Oh, Kate Winslet was 26.
And that's why that's why he left her, or the door was 25 years old or something stupid. They have some really funny ones.
Oh God!
But I mean, in all honesty, we're talking about 3D, and we're talking about how big it got, and just it felt like every movie, and they would actually take movies and quote unquote convert them to 3D, just so you would have to pay more money, and you could still see a 3D movie. It's just not nearly as big as it used to be.
Besides Avatar, the best movie I saw in 3D during that craze was the Nicolas Cage movie Drive Angry.
I thought you were going to see Harold and Kumar.
That too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
They took the use of 3D and made it fun. Because
they made fun of it.
Drive Angry had some where a skeleton is jumping out at the screen at you, and obviously in Harold and Kumar they do the funny gags.
It's going to be amazing.
So those took advantage of the 3D aspect, whereas Christmas Carol and Avatar were just shot in 3D, But
it's so funny because looking back on it, I remember do we want to see it in regular or 3D? That was a conversation we would have going to the movies.
Yeah.
And there were some movies that were okay in 3D, but yeah, for the most part.
I told when we saw Christmas Carol, I told people, if you're going to go see Christmas, don't need to see it in 3D. There was nothing about that movie. I was I had to. After we saw it, I was no, you could see it normally.
Not watched it since.
I saw it this past Christmas.
Really?
Underrated movie.
Is it?
I like it.
I don't know. It's that creepy CGI person.
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. It's not as bad as Polar Express,
Yeah, with the dead eyes.
but it was still fairly good.
Yeah, that was almost a trope for a little while too, but luckily that's kind of...
Well, because the whole studio basically was like,
That's what they did.
they lost a lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. Because it was that, Beowulf. Remember when Beowulf came out?
Oh, yeah, with Angelina Jolie and that other guy.
Well, yeah, the guy from The Departed.
Sure. I just remember Angelina Jolie because like the whole thing was like, she's naked in it.
Yep.
No, she's not.
No.
It's a cartoon. Let's all calm down, everyone.
Yeah.
Just like in Wanted with the body double.
Yes.
Everybody's like, oh my God, it's Angelina Jolie's butt. It's not Angelina Jolie's butt.
No.
She gets paid way too much money to ever have to show
You
her
want to
butt.
see Angelina Jolie? You can go watch Gia.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all you need.
I'd rather watch Swordfish. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're
You
talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. But so we just kind of talked about Avatar as a whole. Now, this is a topic I did not bring up to Sean, but I wanted to ask him about it since we're talking about things that Hollywood does that's stupid. Waiting too long for a sequel or doing a sequel 20 plus years after. Now, we've seen it works with Top Gun this past year,
Oh, wow, yeah. No, agreed.
but we've seen it also fail spectacularly.
It's a touchy subject because it obviously depends on the story. It depends on who is involved in making it. Now, I think a perfect example is Incredibles. I think we waited way too long for that movie, and it didn't live up to the expectations we were hoping it would. I have not seen that movie since we saw it in theaters.
I've seen bits and pieces.
The Incredibles
Yeah.
sequel. I just did not care for it. It just didn't do it for me. Avatar, it's going to be 13 years. I mean, it's... If you're a Disney fan, obviously they have a land based on Avatar in Disney World.
Yeah.
Which people were making fun of back when they were building it. It was like, who's going to want to go to, this place? And then it's like... It's
Playing the long game.
It's really quite beautiful the way they pulled it off, and the ride is fantastic. So it's smart that they have it. It was a gamble. And what else? I know... What's another...
We said Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. I enjoyed Dumb and Dumber, but it wasn't obviously as good as...
Had it come out right after the first one,
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel like
obviously,
we would
but I
have
think
enjoyed
Jim
it more.
Carrey was too...
Busy?
Probably busy.
It was like peak
because it was
Jim
the
Carrey.
same year. It was 94. He did that and Ace Ventura in the same year.
Wild.
And then from that point on...
What a year.
And then 95, he did Batman.
Mm-hmm. And then you also got Sin City. I say a lot of the reason
Sin
why
City
the second one wasn't that good to begin with, but it definitely waited way too long.
We walked out of that Sin City, the first movie, and we were just like, we can't wait for another one.
Oh my gosh,
that movie was fantastic.
So good.
So good, that movie.
I mean, that was a whole genre in itself with all that. You had 300.
Matrix.
The Matrix. Oh god, did you? We
I saw
obviously
it.
we
It was
saw.
a
We did an
movie-
episode on it.
We did an episode on it. It's a movie I'll never need to watch again.
I just watched the Everything Great About Matrix. What is it? Resurrections.
Yeah.
And the guy was generous, but like at the same time, he was like, it is what it is.
Did not have to be made.
I was watching another video about the Matrix, and they were saying that the first half is actually really good, and then once they actually come out of the Matrix, it's not good anymore. And I was like, I could see that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, waiting too long for a movie to make a sequel, like I said, sometimes most of the time it has not been successful.
Most of the time, but every now and then you'll get a good one.
Top
Who
Gun.
would have ever thought Top Gun would be? I think it's now like the 6th or 7th highest grossing movie of all time.
Now, do you think the fact that it's also still in theaters helps? Because it's been in theaters now for
3 months, basically.
That's well
But
outside the norm.
I think what also helps is there's just not a lot of other movies that are coming out. So that may help it. It is a very good movie, though. I
Oh my God, it's
loved
really
that
good.
movie.
Yeah.
I saw it twice in theaters.
Yeah, usually there are 3 reactions that you get for any movie, and it wasn't that good. It was all right, or it was good. Those are your 3.
See, that to me, it's like if I want to see it again in a theater. That to me is the ultimate praise for me.
I'd rather go see it. That's a movie, especially. I'd rather go see it in a theater. But look at like Independence Day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another movie that waited so long.
10 plus years to do it.
But then I'd argue you get Jurassic World, which I really like the first Jurassic World.
First Jurassic World was all right.
Yeah, and then the second one was just bleh.
Yeah. And
Then
I still haven't
someone
seen
seen the
this
third one. But that was the general consensus also. That was all right. I'm trying to think other movies that waited a long time, because I just had Jurassic World, Star Wars. I like The Force Awakens. I like Rogue One.
I don't think Star Wars hurt from being a big gap between the movies coming out. I think what hurt is just there was no single voice controlling that trilogy. Mm-hmm. It was just, here, you do this one, you do that one, you do this one. Don't trade notes. Don't have a over-ending story arc. Let's just, cobble stories together and all that. I'll give Rian Johnson credit, man. He's standing by
The
Last Jedi.
Oh god, it's so bad though.
There are people who like it.
There are people that like it. That's fine, and I will
And
never.
I think he's a good filmmaker.
So
I mean,
one thing about our show, especially, and also our friendship, Sean and I do not always agree on movies, and I think that actually has been a cornerstone of our friendship for a long time, and something that we actually bonded over. I'll never tell Sean that he's dumb or stupid for liking a movie, just like he always says it to me. I mean, never says it to me, but there are plenty of movies that we will never agree on for how much we like them, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If there's a movie that you like, that you enjoy, cool, enjoy it.
You're also talking to the same two guys who happen to both like Grease too.
Oh, we are so in the minority with that. I love it.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it, man. I wish we was playing an Alamo Draft House, Grease 2.
Oh, God. That would have been fun. That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been an experience.
I'd be okay with that. We should do musicals as a genre. But
I'm down.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have all sorts of things, including disaster movies, erotic thrillers, studio reaction, and more. But first, a quick break. Hey guys, it's Paul, and the Misfit Faction is looking for your help. We are trying to grow not only our network, but also grow our brands, and the best way to do that is if you guys are looking to start your very own podcast. Maybe you guys have been listening to us for a while. Maybe it's something you guys have always wanted to do, but you're not sure how to get started. If you go to podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys will get a month of free podcasting on us. That is a gift from us. So make sure if you guys are looking to start your own show, you reach out to us and go to podbean.com/misfitfaction. Also, maybe you guys have your own online business or service that you're always looking to grow, and advertising is a very big part of that. If you guys go to sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys can get $100 worth of free advertising, again, as a thank you from us to you guys. That's sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction. All right, we are back.
Welcome back.
And Sean, we're the worst at talking over each other in an episode.
Oh, I do it just to piss you off.
I know you do, and then I do it to just piss me
Who
off.
wins in a fight? Oh, God.
Who would win in a fight? No, I don't have one yet. Don't worry, I got you. All right, so what do you think is one of the most important aspects of marketing your movie?
That's a very good question.
What's the one thing we're always waiting for?
Cast.
You didn't think this one through.
No, because I didn't know I had to.
I was going to say the trailer.
Yeah, but...
Oh, really? You're such a pain in the ass. It's like you knew and you're just actually messing with me. But no, the trailer.
Trailer.
How, I mean, even like watching the Super Bowl, you know.
Oh, you mean
we wait for the trailers.
You wait for the trailers.
And
Were there any trailers this past Super Bowl?
I think there was the
Doctor
Doctor Strange, and then you had to, and that's another new trope. You have to now go online and watch the full trailer.
That's when we freaked out over the Professor Xavier. It's like, my God, that's Professor Xavier. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, that's fair. That's been the reaction since. But movie trailers have been an important aspect of not only creating your movie, but also marketing your movie. Trailers are a big deal still. Like nowadays, it's a lot easier. They usually drop online, and there's a lot of hype about the trailers. It's like, all right, new trailer releasing.
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con, that's like their big staple.
Releases trailers. This coming weekend, we're going to get a lot of Marvel news.
Oh, yeah. It's
at the D23 Expo. D23 Expo.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you.
So, well done.
I think we're going to get our Fantastic Four cast announced.
I think so, too.
We're going to get, I think Giancarlo Esposito is going to get cast as Xavier.
I love him. I really do, but I don't want him as Professor X.
I think it's enough. I think Patrick Stewart is done.
Oh, no, I don't want Patrick Stewart either, but I really want a younger cast.
Depending on the storyline.
Yeah, I mean, at least 10-year contracts for these people. I mean, it's Marvel.
Do you have to, though?
Yes. Yes, you do. But for me, like you think back, there were times. I think it was the Star Wars Phantom Menace trailer that people went to a specific movie just to see the trailer and then left.
That was a big thing. I remember seeing the Phantom Menace trailer for A Bug's Life.
Oh yeah,
when that came out.
I like that movie though.
Well, we did it. We stayed and watched the movie, but we went to see I Am Legend in IMAX because they were going to show the first 10 minutes of Dark Knight.
Yep, the opening bank
heist. And, I was like, I'm willing to just leave after the beginning. But no, let's stick around and
actually,
watch it.
I didn't mind that movie.
The
ending still sucks, and the alternate ending's better, but that's just me.
But that is a big thing was, I think Batman, when the Tim Burton Batman came out.
Oh, yeah, it came out, the
trailers, and people would just go call and be like, hey, what movie is playing and shows the Batman trailer? Oh, this movie? Oh, okay. Buy a ticket. go in, watch the Batman trailer, and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not that crazy. I would like to think I would buy a ticket and go see the movie. But no, trailers have been. I mean, trailers have been around since the 30s and 40s. I mean, it more so in reissues, like when movies would be reissued to theaters the second time around, you'd get a trailer for it. I'm trying to remember when trailers really started to take off. Probably in the 70s, 80s, like where you would go to a theater and there'd be like 10 trailers before your movie.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays we go see an AMC film and it's like 14 trailers.
I used to love the trailers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would be like, I want to be in my seat. I want to see every single trailer because I liked seeing these trailers for these, especially when it was a big movie. When it was like a big blockbuster release, you knew you were going to get a lot of big movie trailers. Mm-hmm. When you see a smaller movie, you're not going to see many trailers of movies you might want to see, but it's gotten, I think, just so crazy now with the trailers. And like you said, AMC, it's like 20 minutes plus.
It's a long
Sometimes
setup.
it's like, all right, enough. Let's start the movie, please. Let's keep going. But
at least it makes it so if we're running late, we're
another
okay.
big thing about trailers that for some reason has started over the last decade is whoever markets these trailers, they need to like look over these things and be like, are we giving away any information here?
So two biggest ones that come to mind for me. Batman vs. Superman, when they released Doomsday, oh crap, there's only one way this ends. And then Terminator Genesis.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, even Terminator Salvation with showing that Marcus was a cyborg the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, they said everything that was good. Like, what the hell? That's your big twist.
Yeah.
You don't have anything after this.
And John Connor is...
I'm actually a bad guy now. Oh, God. And that movie just sucked. I hated that movie. I was so upset because I love the Terminator franchise. Did you see Dark Fate? Mm-hmm. I didn't like Dark Fate.
I didn't mind it.
I did.
I enjoyed Linda Hamilton being back.
I enjoyed Linda
But it was
Hamilton.
Basically a remake of the first movie.
And a reboot.
It was a remake of the first movie and then a little hint of the second movie with having Arnold being a good cyborg. Mm. But I thought Linda Hamilton was the soul of that movie, and I thought she was fantastic.
My problem with the Terminator franchise as a whole, and I know we're going off on a tangent, but it's our podcast.
We always do.
John Connor was marketed as the most important human being in all of history.
And he gets killed.
And easily replaced.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens from him dying.
No.
We spent 97
because
movies.
You saved the world from the whole basis of that movie was that they defeated Skynet at the end of T2, and then he gets killed.
But we also had Terminator 3, where that turns out that they just postponed it and it's inevitable. You have Terminator Salvation. You have Terminator Genesis.
He's okay, everybody. Paul just gets very testy about the Terminator films.
I really do, because the first two are so good.
I think,
and the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Gun to your head. Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Good.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. I think it's better written. I think the effects are better. I think the story's better. I think the acting's better. As much as it
except for Michael Biehn. I love Michael Biehn.
I do. I am very sad that Michael Biehn was not in it at all.
Come with me if you want to live.
Well, he's in deleted scenes.
Yeah,
where he's like talking to Sarah. But anyway, so now
what a tangent that was.
So the problem with trailers is usually they're done by a separate company. There's a specific trailer company that takes footage that's given to them, and then they create the trailers. Now, that also, again, nice segue, leads into our other discussion. Studio interference. Studio interference has become more and more of a forefront in movie discussion, especially among nerds like us who have a podcast. Now, there's been a big push for studios to be less involved and more hands-off and let it stand in the hands of the more creative people. Marvel has Kevin Feige, who is not a representative of the studio. He runs Marvel Entertainment. So what do you think about studio interference?
So, to me, studio interference can go either way. Obviously, there could be good studio interference because there's been times where maybe the director's going off the rails a little and the studio has to step in, maybe replace a director.
Donnie Darko's a good example.
Replace a cast, do something. Because obviously, it's the studio's money. So the studio has to be involved in somehow.
They have to have a stake.
They have to have a stake. So do I agree that studios need to be fully, on top of the director? No, that's a little too much. But you have to have faith in who you've hired to make this movie. You have to have faith that it's going to be done, on time. And, you're not going to be spending a ridiculous amount of money overboard than what you already set your budget to be. But then you've got these franchises that, like DC. I mean, DC's so worried about what Marvel's doing,
Mm-hmm.
they got to try and copy Marvel. So I'm sure everybody at Warner Brothers was like, "Oh, this is too much. This we don't like this. You got to be more like this." And then Zack Snyder can't get anything done, and it's, I don't know. It's just,
Well, we've seen plenty of times where the studio gets involved and they take a film and they chop it to pieces and do
then you get the director's cuts and all that
I
stuff.
mean, look at Fanforstic. I like to call it that because that's how it's spelled. But they did the Fanforstic. I actually keep saying that. Fantastic Four film with who's the director of that? The guy who did Chronicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, they basically the studio and you could see it in the movie. You could watch that movie and be like, and that's the studio, that's the director, that's the studio. Like it's wild. It's a great if you're just looking for experimentation in movies. I mean, the wigs alone for Kate Mara. But it's bad, man. It's really bad. But they did this. Josh Trank. That's it.
Josh Trank.
Yeah.
There you go.
And literally, the day the movie came out, he went on social media and he was like, "This isn't the movie that I made. This is a movie that was cut in half by the studio and redone. And I don't support this movie." And he hasn't really worked since. He got blacklisted from Hollywood for doing that because the studios do control a lot of that. But we have movies like Justice League, Suicide Squad, even I Am Legend, which we were talking about. I Am Legend the studio changed the ending. The original ending is much better, where Will Smith actually does survive. And it was more in tune with like the book and the themes. So for me, when a studio starts to really get involved, that's also it's 90% of the time it's a red flag. Are there times where it works out? Sure. Donnie Darko is a great example where the studio got involved and the movie was better for it. But for me, like once you hear reshoots are not uncommon.
No.
They've been around forever, but now because of, people taking pictures and like all these things and more social media and more word of mouth, every time a movie goes in for reshoots, they're like, "Oh no, it must be horrible." No, they did their test screening and they found that this didn't work, so they changed it. It happens. Movies are not just we filmed it, it's done, time to release it. Like it is, and most actors have it in their contracts that they have to come back for reshoots.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah. So for me, like there are plenty of times where they do a reshoot and you could tell it's not the actual actor and they have to film it a certain way because that happens too.
Stand-ins.
Yeah, not
Sometimes
uncommon Hollywood practices. But let's talk about studios. Again, segues are on point today.
Look at you.
One of the biggest tropes or trends in Hollywood right now is trying to create a cinematic universe. What is the biggest failure when you think of cinematic universes right now?
Universal Monsters Dark Universe, which pains me to say.
The one that they announced before the movie came out.
Oh my God.
I love it. You can't make it up. Where they were like, yeah.
I still remember that picture they had of
All
Cruise,
the
Russell
Photoshopped
Crowe.
together, yeah.
I don't think, no, they weren't Photoshopped together.
Some of them were.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was Johnny Depp, the girl, Sophia something, the one who played the mummy.
I know what you're talking about.
And Angelina Jolie.
And I think Benicio del Toro.
No, he wasn't involved.
I thought he was.
He did the Wolfman back in the
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking of. I missed that movie.
2010s. I like that movie.
That movie's good until the last 15 minutes.
I agree.
Yeah. But,
I agree.
So, cinematic universes, crossovers have been around forever. Abbott and Costello met every single monster you can possibly imagine.
But they weren't tied together, but it was a crossover. I agree. Universal monster movies of the 40s was basically a cinematic universe. You'd have the Wolfman, then it would be Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, then it would be the Ghost of Frankenstein, then it would be House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and it was all like a continuing story throughout those movies. Not wonderfully done. I mean, there's a lot of glitches and just
logic leaps
and stupid ideas mixed in there, but for me, I love it.
Yeah.
So when they announced that they were going to do this dark universe, I was excited. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, it was like, oh, we're going to finally get some remakes of these movies, but
all right, who'd win in a fight? The Monster Squad or the Goonies? Ooh.
Oh, that's not fair.
I think the Monster Squad.
I think the Monster Squad was more of a...
Because Horace shot
I think
a monster.
Monster Squad was more of a fisticuffs.
It's some older kids. Actually, who's the...
Rudy.
Rudy versus Brad.
Oh, Rudy would win.
You think Rudy would win?
Rudy'd kill you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Brad was, just a little sporty, a little athletic, but Rudy was like, don't mess with him.
Yeah, I like it. I'm all about it. Now, who'd win in a fight? Sloth or Frankenstein's monster from Monster Squad? I think Sloth.
I think
I mean, the Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman
but
does have nards, but I think Sloth might have the advantage there. But I don't know.
I support this conversation.
I do too.
Yeah.
I agree.
But anyway, so
What other failed universes do we have besides that one? I mean, that's the biggest one.
you can argue the DC universe. I hate
That's
to say
true.
it. You can't argue it, but they've
But
been
we're getting another one.
a lot of movies have been trying to just go bigger. I would even say that Fast and Furious tried to do it with Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh my god.
Which, like, if they hadn't called it Hobbs and Shaw, if it had just been Jason Statham and The Rock doing their thing, I would have been okay with it. But oh man, the Fast and Furious franchise.
Talk about a franchise that I just have no interest in anymore.
I know, which is a shame because.
But I still watch
5 and 6,
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6, yeah,
And the first one.
yeah, and the first one.
But
Second one's okay, passable.
still never seen the second one.
Really, and you haven't seen Tokyo
I haven't
Drift.
seen Tokyo Drift.
That's okay.
Don't sing it.
I wasn't going to. It's in my head, but I won't sing it.
trust you.
No, I wasn't going to do it. But cinematic universes are such a huge thing. And, obviously Marvel showed that it can be done. But, like, you have your Alien vs. Predator, which
has been, which
Up
was
and
fairly
down.
successful. But, I mean, Predator more so. I mean, the Predator movies have been actually relatively good.
I gotta watch Prey. I heard it's fantastic.
I heard it's fantastic. The Alien movies have not been. Like Covenant,
yeah.
Alien Covenant.
That's
hot
another
garbage.
That's another example of just
Trying too hard.
We don't need to know.
We don't.
Yeah, less.
But I like this Predator one where it's like so long ago.
Oh yeah, and he's like wearing like a bone mask and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But I'm trying to even the Sony Marvel universe, like they're trying to do their own thing, and it's just Morbius. Ugh.
Morbius and Venom too. Just Morbius we knew was going to be hot garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that movie was just delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. If it was truly that good, they would have tried to get that movie out year earlier than it was.
It still wouldn't have helped.
No.
But so here's a conversation that I really wanted to. This is going to be a fun one. So we've talked a lot about some of the things that Hollywood has really latched onto. Now, genre films. What is your genre? Like, if you were to go see a movie, what do you gravitate towards first and foremost?
That's a very good question.
I like action comedies.
I'd probably say action comedies. I'm a sucker for disaster films. I'm a sucker for horror films. But if you put a gun to my head, I would probably say action comedy. Comedy, spoof.
Yeah, action drama maybe.
Maybe.
Like a Departed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Hollywood is famous for they know how to follow trends and they know how to follow what people are talking about and what people are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about a couple of different genres of film that exploded in popularity and then they unfortunately, because they got so overdone or they were so poorly produced and poorly done, that people just lost interest completely. So
biggest one would be the Western.
I was going to say the spaghetti Western really kind of started that trend.
The Westerns were, I mean, if you go back to old Hollywood from the 20s to the 50s, Westerns were probably the third best genre in Hollywood. Like that was like, I mean, and this is also early on when like you had all this open land around in Hollywood, you could film these Westerns.
Right.
And then obviously, John Ford would film his stuff in Monument Valley, which is some of the gorgeous film you'll ever see. But Westerns really took a tumble in the 70s and 80s. Like it was Heaven's Gate is still considered one of the biggest box office flops of all time. It was from the guy who directed The Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter was like this guy's first ever movie. He wins Best Director, Best Picture, and the studio was like, here's all this money.
Yeah.
Go and make whatever you want. And he makes
Terrible
this
idea.
just huge bomb, and that pretty much killed the Western genre. It pops up every now and then, like Silverado in the 80s. I love that movie.
They did what was the Crazy Eight?
Oh yeah, Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight, and then they did a couple Cowboys versus Aliens, which was
God,
it wasn't
garbage.
I still enjoyed it.
I hated that movie.
It's bad, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
That movie was I was hoping for so much with that movie for some reason, and then it just turned into be
Yeah, I know.
good. But
Triggered.
Kevin Costner's been a big Western guy. Open Range, I love that movie. So like I said, it's not nowhere near the genre that it used to be. Like it's just not.
But
You
now
can't
you got,
guarantee that it'll make much money, but every now and then you get a good one.
I think it's more popular on TV now with like Yellowstone and now.
Well, Yellowstone, I think, is going to bring it back, hopefully, because that's a show I need to watch.
Yeah, I think we watched the first episode.
Yeah,
just
it's like it's like Dallas in as Cowboys. I mean, it's one of those like guilty pleasure dramas that you just get stuck with. But the Western was a big one. Disaster films.
So disaster films are still around, and they were but there was a time where it was literally that was the genre. You had 2012, you had The Day After Tomorrow, you had Independence Day. But
throw Godzilla, the 98 Godzilla in there as a disaster film.
Because it's a disaster movie. But anyway.
But disaster films, even when they started in the 70s, you had Airport, you had Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno.
I'd even say Die Hard to a point.
Earthquake, yeah. I mean, and then it died off because they're also very expensive to do.
Yes.
And it was Independence Day that brought it back. And then it just kind of, Armageddon.
Oh,
Deep Impact. So it just kind of, it was like, oh, we can make money with this. You get an all-star cast, which is what they did in the 70s. I mean, Poseidon Adventure, Gene Hackman. Towering Inferno was Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. You get a big-name star. And then we get 2012 with John Cusack.
Or we get, what was the one with Dwayne Johnson a few years ago?
Oh, San Andreas.
Besides, there was another one that he was like on a tower.
Oh, yeah, with Nev Campbell. It was like the most random.
And he has like a fake foot or something like that.
Fake leg. That one was stupid. The San Andreas one I actually kind of liked.
Yeah.
But
who doesn't like? I mean, unfortunately, Dwayne Johnson is a.
I'm Dwayne Johnson's out, but every now and then I can still watch him.
He's a drama. He's like a genre of himself at this point.
But the disaster film is a big one that just took off and it kind of gets bled dry. Even the Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh yeah,
you could say is a disaster film really in a way. But I'm trying to think of another good genre that's kind of the spoof genre.
The spoof genre. So let's talk about the movies. So they came out with date movie.
Oh yeah,
and this is what started this trend where date movie took. And spoof movies were not unheard of. Like, we love the original scary movies. Yeah. The first and second one are hilarious. Are they good movies? No. Are they completely relevant to the time that they were created?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's the problem with spoof movies.
Very dated.
Very dated. They are for the year that they came out, basically. Because they'll make fun of commercials at the time, tropes at the time.
Music
videos, other movies, TV shows, everything. Yeah. But it's always relevant to the time period that they're in. So they're dated. They're always dated. Scary Movie 1 and 2 proved that they could not only be box office successes, but also R-rated successes. But then they wanted to make more money, so then they started the PG-13 spoof movie trope, which was you had Scary Movies 3, 4, however many they made. You have...
Date movie.
Date movie started it.
Disaster movie. Epic movie.
Epic movie. Meet the Spartans. And superhero movie.
Was there a disaster movie?
There was a disaster movie. Yeah.
And then they've done 50 Shades of Black.
Oh yeah.
With Marlon Wayans.
I think I
Haunted
watched
House.
We like the Haunted House.
We did like the Haunted House one. Because that was back to the scary movie humor.
Right.
Where it was just so ridiculously over the top and like vulgar.
Yeah. But then you watch like Meet the Spartans where it is just...
We actually saw that in theaters.
We saw that in theaters. I don't know what... And people laughed in that movie.
Because it was all kids.
It was the weirdest experience. That was such a unique movie-going experience. And I'll always say that because it was just wild. It was so strange. Like...
I remember we had a kid behind us who was just narrating the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, get me out of here, please.
Yeah.
But even the first go around of spoofing movies did that with like Airplane 2, and Naked Guns and all that, Hot Shots. I mean, there are spoof movies that, there was an Exorcist spoof movie.
Oh, yeah.
Repossessed. It was,
sounds like I got my car taken back.
Pretty much.
Repossessed.
And then obviously Mel Brooks with the Robin Hood Men in Tights and the Dracula Dead and Loving It was in that.
Yeah, so spoof movies can absolutely work. They can. I mean, I think we enjoyed Superhero Movie enough.
Superhero Movie was
better.
Sort of a return back to the Naked Gun feel. It was
very Scary Movie 3.
It was Scary Movie 3. It tried.
Yeah.
It wasn't just plopping these stupid ideas into a thing and like coming up with like spoofs of certain scenes from movies. Like I remember Epic Movie when we saw it in theaters. It was just recreating because it had Cal Penn in it.
The only funny scene in that entire movie is when Jennifer Coolidge is like, I'll take you to my White Castle. And it cuts over and it's an actual White Castle. And he's like, I feel like I've been there before. Yeah. That was the only scene that I'll still laugh at because, obviously that's him making fun of himself. But, oh, man, it is just... And also when the other dude pretends to be Superman and he gets shot in the eye, he's like, you shot me in the eye. Why would you do that?
Oh, when they were spoofing that
Superman
famous
Returns.
Scene.
Yeah. But it's bad. the Spoof movie got so out of hand, and they'll still make them every once in a while.
I'm trying to remember what the last
With their with like a G-list cast. I think they did some sort of Hunger Games, like the Starving Games or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And just they'll get like
it was a spoof of The Hangover.
Oh yeah,
The Hunger Games.
The 40-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall, I think was one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but like they'll find like the most G-list celebrities. Like I think one has a Kardashian in them. Like Carmen Electra was in a bunch of them. Like they'll find like Diedrich Bader was the bad guy. Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, and Meet the Spartans.
Yeah, but like they will find the whoever needs a paycheck. I'm surprised Nick Cage hasn't done one yet. But yeah, it's bad. Now the last thing we're going to talk about, and this is kind of in the same vein, movie re-release or live action re-releases or live action adaptations of famous properties. Now, making movies off of cartoon or TV shows is not something out of the norm.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, we've talked about the Dukes of Hazzard. We did a whole episode of
Did a whole episode
series
of TV shows into movies.
Yeah, and one day we'll do movies to TV, like because Cobra Kai's coming out this week. I'm psyched. But you have like your obvious ones. Like we went to go see Dragon Ball Evolution in theaters, and oh my God, that movie's so bad. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, though. I can put that movie on. It's so strange. But let's see what else we got. I'm trying to think of another one off the top. Oh, Avatar.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
But really, we're talking about Disney and their cash grabs.
I didn't have a problem when they first started. What was the first one they did? I think it was Cinderella. Well, actually, technically, the first one they did was 101 Dalmatians back in the 90s. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, with Glenn Close.
With Glenn Close. That was the first time, and that movie was a huge hit, and that was very well done. Nobody had any issues with that movie. They did Cinderella back in 2011, and I still haven't seen that, but I heard it's
all right. Yeah,
I think that was Lily James.
Yeah.
And then Beauty and the Beast came out, and
which was okay.
I enjoyed it. I really did because it added more to the story that we never got.
Things that also made sense.
Made more things make sense. I liked the cast. Mm-hmm. I did not have a problem with Emma Watson like some people do, and it got kind of. Now it's kind of gone overboard because now it's just like which movie they're going to do next. Because then it came The Lion King, which was so
overhyped.
I didn't like it.
There
was nothing about it that to me added to the story of The Lion King. In fact, in my opinion, you took away from, because remember, Be Prepared wasn't even in the movie.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that. That still pisses me off.
Was it beautiful to watch? Yeah, I thought it was very well done in terms of the way they did the effects, but it didn't add anything to the experience of watching the original Lion King, and in my opinion, I think it took away from what the original cartoon did.
James Earl Jones just sounds so tired in it.
Yeah.
He definitely was on his phone doing it. And then we had Aladdin, which was good.
I liked Aladdin. I never saw Mulan.
Once they said it wasn't going to be a musical, I was like, what's the point?
I didn't see Dumbo. I heard Dumbo was horrible. Mm-hmm. They're doing a Hercules, and I think they're doing...
Well, Pinocchio's coming out this
That's
week.
Pinocchio. Thank you. I forgot about Pinocchio.
What a weird... I think the weekend of September 8, 9, and 10, they have a ton of things dropping.
Well, yeah, because it's the D23 Expo is going on, so that's their Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to watch the Pinocchio movie. Because
I'll watch it.
You literally recopied the puppet. He looks exactly
the same.
I mean, it's literally the same as the cartoon.
It's what people wanted Lion King to do.
Yeah, I guess.
I've seen artist renderings of making the lions more look like they're
cartoon characters.
Yeah, and sometimes some of them look really good.
But Tom Hanks, I'm always willing to watch Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
I don't have to pay for it, so there you go.
Yeah, but for the most part, I think Disney re-releases. I'm never going to be the first one in the theater. I need to say this right now.
Depends. If they do a Hunchback in Notre Dame, I'm there.
Yeah, as long as the gargoyles are in it. As long as it's a musical.
Well, that's the thing. If it's not a musical, you can't do it because it's not Disney. Mm-hmm. Hunchback in Notre Dame's been done numerous times without being Disney. You can't make a Disney version of Hunchback without the music.
And I will argue that Hellfire's still one of the great.
It's a fantastic song.
It's a great villain song. Who'd win in a fight, Hellfire or Be Prepared? Visuals included. I would actually, as much as I love Be Prepared, I would go Hellfire.
I think Hellfire's a more powerful song.
It is. It's haunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Be Prepared's a good song, except when you got the Nazi hyenas.
Oh my God.
Marching there. But,
I think that's really the only reason they didn't do it for
Which makes no sense to me. Then don't have the hyenas march like
know.
that. You can still have the damn song.
He starts like talking it, and I'm like, stop. Idris Elba, no.
It was Idris Elba?
I thought so.
I thought it was Chilean, whatever his name is, the guy from Doctor Strange.
That's a great... Maybe. We're terrible. We don't know.
I'm pretty confident.
All right, so who'd win in a fight right now?
You or me? You.
Let's see. Who played Scar? Come on. Let's see. Simba, Pumbaa, Scar. Oh, yeah. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
Who was Idris Elba in? I could have sworn he was somebody. I guess not.
No.
Oh, I need to go lay down. Oh, man, I'm terrible. But anyway.
It's all right. I still love you.
I'm just going to edit this out anyway. It's fine.
Pretty much.
What? But anyway. So, yeah, any other tropes? Anything else that Hollywood needs to just get rid of?
Nothing's hitting me right now.
Nothing's hitting you. Well, we want to hear from you guys, too. So don't forget, you can always find us on all sorts of social media. Like what, Sean?
Well, we can get us on Facebook, on YouTube, on something else.
Something else.
Our website, misfitfaction.com, where you can also listen to MF Uncensored and the Multiverse Fancast. They're pretty good.
Yep.
I'd give them a shot.
So basically any social media, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, type in the social...
So this is why he's here.
Yeah, the Misfit Faction Media Network, and you'll find us. But I think that's pretty much going to wrap us up for today.
Wrap it up.
All right, as always, I'm Paul.
And I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys next time.
And maybe.